So I was diligently working away and Ben turned to me and dropped this really weird random fact that his grandma used to give him sleeping pills when they would go on long trips. I just thought that was maybe a tad inappropriate, sort of. I mean, I can understand it. Kids are fucking incessantly annoying. Anyway, I listened to him and it was fucking boring. It was droning on as a stupid story. And so I thought I'd pose the question to Facebook. What weird things has your grandparents done? And we got quite a lot of thousands of replies. I'm going to go through them now. Phoebe has compiled the best ones. No pressure, Phoebe. If you don't laugh, it's Phoebe's fault. This is from Karen. So when she was little, her grandma used to be obsessed with chocolate and would just have a jar of chocolate and the one jar of peanuts next to her chair. When they visited, they would sit at her feet and eat out of the jar of chocolate. Her mum would always get angry at her for eating the peanuts, saying she would choke on them, so just don't eat them. Karen would go in and eat these peanuts as well. One day she was sitting with her grandma and actually watched her eat the chocolates, only to see that her oh my God. Her grandma was sucking the chocolate and spitting the peanuts out into the other jar. She was eating, that's so disgusting. Why was the grandma not throwing the peanuts out? Why wouldn't you just eat the peanut? Why not just buy fucking chocolates? Honestly. Next. This one's from Rebecca. When I was 6 years old, it was my granddad's 60th and I gave him a birthday card and inside I wrote, "Wow, you're nearly 100. He thought it was the funniest thing ever. Every year on his birthday, he would tell me, nearly 100. I ended up getting a tattoo saying this for him." Oh, that's cute. Goes on to say, then the day before his 100th birthday, he died. No, don't. That's mean. Don't. Phoebe. Why would you write that? This is from Mary. One Christmas Eve, when I was really little, we went to midnight mass with Nan. They had candles. My Nan accidentally lit the Bible on fire and yelled out, "Jesus fucking Christ!" That was the last time we did midnight mass. Can you imagine? Like, Jesus Christ in the church with the Bible on fire. He's returned. Do you remember ever going to church and there'd be the little old lady choir and they'd sing like this? I love you. They warble their voice. Do you remember that? And so me and my brothers would go to church and they had beautiful singing voices, but they'd be like, Jesus! And we'd be like, trying not to laugh, and Dad would be, "Shut up! Jesus Christ, shut up!"
I can't say it.
No, what? Say it. Just say it and we can edit it out.
But whilst he was giving a sermon.
Church. My grandparents used to rate each other's farts by the smell. That's so disgusting. I walked in on them doing it and I got screamed at out of embarrassment. Grandparents are weird.
But why is it the smell and not the sound?
Yeah, but when you get older, it doesn't make a sound because things loosen. So their butthole would have loosened. 9 out of 10. This is from Naomi. I remember playing tea sets with my granddad and it would fill my little cups with beer. I was 5. Yep, good. One day, my grandma had had enough of us fighting in the car, so she dropped all of us kids, I think she had 4 of us at the time, off at different points. Just told one of us to get out of the car and then drove off and dropped another one somewhere else. That's amazing, the malice in that. My cousin and I found each other and thought it was hilarious. Poor grandma, we really were shitheads. We used to get threatened all the time, but they would never follow through, which was why we never behaved ourselves. "I'll turn this car around." We'd be like, "Okay, we'll turn it around." Damn it. Corinne. My grandma using drive-through for the first time and she drove... Ow, I just really hurt my toe. Stopped it. Sorry. My grandma using the drive-through for the first time, she drove up to the bin and started placing our order. Oh, that's the sad realization when you're like, oh, it's time for a home. This is from Tina. My grandma would ground me during school holidays. then make me rub her feet and make her vanilla lattes while she watched her soaps on TV. Is that not the most grandma thing ever? I think she just wanted a slave. When I was naughty, my grandmother used to say, go outside and jump up and down to get the devil out of you. I swear I was out there for hours. It's just to distract. Like, the grandparents understand that their kids have shitty little kids and they know what it's like. So they'll just lie to you. Like, our nan used to be like, yeah, go and climb a tree. And then we'd fall out of the tree and break our hand. And then duct tape was a really good way to sort of fix. My Nana went away on holidays with us. Once we all stayed in a one-room cabin. Nana had been telling me that girls have to wear a bra, otherwise they would get droopy boobs. It says here, boobs like bits of boot leather. Oh. Anyway, we were all laying in bed and my Nana was getting undressed. Oh God. And she said, oh, can you hear that? Next we heard a swish sound. Oh my God, where is this going? Nana said, that's my nipples dragging on the ground. And that's because I didn't wear a bra growing up. I am 52 now and still remember this, and it makes me laugh. Christmas time, the whole family together. One of my cousins asked my nan why she liked some of us more than the rest. Oh my God, yes. She looked him dead in the eye and said, I don't. I hate you all equally. That's what I would say as a grandparent. My pop used to love lollies. One night I went for a sleepover and found his packet of red frogs. Needless to say, I ate them all. Then I was sick and my nana thought I was vomiting blood. I ended up in hospital and on a drip and everything. They were thinking maybe it was my appendix. My pop came up the next day and let me know he found the packet. Then smiled and said, let's see how you get out of this one. So they thought she was vomiting blood when all she'd done was just eaten an entire packet of red frogs. $1,000 hospital visits. Like, I just don't know what's wrong with me. My brother once ate like a whole tin of beetroot and then pooped, and it was very red, and mum panicked and went to the hospital and they saw him and they said, oh, has he eaten beetroot recently? And she's like, yeah, but like it would only be a little amount. And he's like, oh no, I opened a whole tin and I ate a whole tin of it. My nan used to have a bottle of Coke in her basket on the back seat. It was a special bottle, as it also had a fair swig of brandy in it. Being kids, we weren't aware and used to steal sips from her bottle, to the point that our mum couldn't understand why we were acting so odd after Nana dropped us home. Because they were drunk. That is amazing and concerning that the brandy was in the car. Old people. Things. Stephanie, my grandmother was so scared of us choking on grapes, she would peel them with her fingers individually. When I ate them, I'd have to wait 5 minutes in between each grape by the time she peeled one. What type of a childhood is that? I'm hungry. Give me a second. There you go. Fiona. When my brother was about 3 or 4, our grandma was watching us and he told her that he wanted some Devon. Do you remember Devon? It's like lips and assholes of a cow smushed together. So she went to the fridge, cut some off and gave it to him. He told her it tasted funny, so she thought, bless her, that it had to be cooked. She chucked it in the microwave for a bit and gave it back to him. He said it still tasted yuck, so she said it must be off and threw it out. When Mum got home, Nan told her that the Devon in the fridge is off, so don't give it to the kids. Mum turned around with something basically to the effect of, there's no Devon in the fridge. What did you feed him? Oh my God. She then realised that Nan had fed him the dog food roll. That's so amazing. The sausage roll for the dog. That's so cute though. That's another reason for time for the home. My grandma took my sister and I to Hungry Jack's one time. Reversing out of the car park, she went up the curb and ended up getting the car stuck under the giant HJ sign. The whole place heard the crunching sound, but she was oblivious. Oh my God, me while driving. She floored the car off the curb and drove home. We had to tell her what happened, but she didn't believe us. She knew what she had done. The dent and yellow paint on top of the car suggested otherwise. You can't mount a curb, hit a Hungry Jack's sign, and then be like, when did I do that? Like that's really concerning. That's another, Oh, let's take your license away from you. I once drove into a building in the city in Sydney, like mounted the curb, drove into the building because I was too busy talking to my cousin in the passenger seat, and I was looking in the rear vision mirror, and I was dropping her home, and I just thought, yeah, her driveway's here in my mind. So I whacked on my indicator, mounted the curb, wasn't the driveway, and then poof, into the building. I was like, oh, it was like maybe 20 meters further down, just reversed out like nothing had happened. And I was so embarrassed, and then I dropped her off, and I thought I'd like dent, because I had a Volvo, I thought I'd dented the car. The car was fine, but as I drove away, there was a bumper bar size hole in this wall where I'd hit the rendering, and the rendering crunched and fell off, and it was just this perfect bumper bar with like number plate. I was like, wow, who did that? My grandma used to give us special chocolate milk before bed whenever we slept over. I always thought it tasted funny. Oh, here we fucking go. Yeah. Turns out it was Bailey's. We always slept well at Grandma and Grandpa's house. Just pure Bailey's. That's when you know your grandparents are doing you a favour. Like, yeah, we'll look after the kids. Drink up. My grandpa helped us build a grandma trap. It was a massive hole in the backyard that we then covered with a tarp and dirt on top. She could have broken a hip. Still amazes me to this day. Here we go. How grandma didn't break a hip when she fell in. Grandpa then denied any involvement in the scheme, and we got into big trouble. That is so funny. I used to love cutting my granddad's toenails for him. Ugh. We'd have conversations and laughs, and it was really special. Was it? Until the day... Until the day a piece of toenail flew off right into my mouth mid-chat. That's so disgusting. It goes on to say, special times like that never happened again. I was scared for my life. Old people things. And that was another edition of Old People Things. We had death, we had road rage, we had toenails in mouths, and we discovered that most grandparents like to give their grandkids alcohol. A tip I will be using if I ever have grandchildren. I'm not having grandchildren. I'm not having children. Ugh. So, well done. Please leave your grandparent stories below. Hi! Thanks for watching. Now we're going to play a fun game of Guess What's in My Hand? I think it's large, long, and I think I might like it. Click this.